I'm Carol Klee. I'm a faculty member in the Department of Spanish and Portuguese Studies and currently chair of the department. I became interested a number of years ago in Andean Spanish and Spanish language contact. How does Spanish change when it's in contact with other languages, particularly the indigenous languages in Latin America? Currently, there are about 10 million speakers of Quechua, which was the language of the Incas. My early research was looking at this variety of Spanish and examining how it has changed in contact with Quechua. More recently, I've become interested in the Spanish of Lima, which is on the coast, the capital city of Peru. In Lima, as in many parts of Latin America and across the world, there's been migration from rural areas. And so you have Andean migrants, so Quechua speakers who come to Lima, and speakers of Andean Spanish who've arrived to Lima, and who now actually constitute a majority of the population. Is their Spanish shifting to become more like Limeño Spanish? Are they maintaining some of these influences from Quechua in their Spanish or not? And then in what ways is the Spanish of native Limeños changing as well? There's much discrimination against indigenous people. Anything that is that they relate overtly to Andean culture or indigenous culture is rejected. So it's in these very subtle ways. One of the characteristics of Andean Spanish is a double possessive. So we normally say John's house. And in Spanish influenced by Quechua, you say his house of John. That particular structure is now used by Limeños. The native Limeños, I think, are completely unaware that this is an influence from the indigenous culture. This semester I'm going to be teaching a course on Spanish language contact. How much can a language change in contact with another? How, for example, Spanish spoken in northern Spain in the Basque region is different because of contact with Basque. How did Spanish change, or how did even new languages become created? There is a language in the Philippines called Chabacano that is a creation, a brand new language due to contact between Spanish and a number of different Asian languages, and as well as Portuguese. How is the Spanish of the Caribbean, how has it been influenced by massive waves of Africans who came over during the colonial era? And then we'll end the course by talking a bit about Spanish in the U.S. and the way Spanish has changed in contact with English. I think most students who choose Spanish and Portuguese for a major really are seeking a more profound understanding of not just Spanish, but Peninsula, I'll have to say, Iberian Peninsula, the Spain, Portugal, Latin American culture, cultural production, as well as a deeper understanding of the Spanish language. If they're interested in the cultural perspectives and historical perspectives, we offer a range of courses that trace Spanish culture and cultural production from the Middle Ages all the way up to the contemporary period. A variety of courses in the area of linguistics, on the sound system of Spanish. Many of our students, I'd say probably about 40% of our students, double major in Spanish and another area, speech language hearing, and are planning to be speech therapists and work within the Latino community. We have courses for students who are majoring in business and want to take advanced business language. We offer medical Spanish courses, so students who are pre-med majors can learn the vocabulary and the language functions that are typical of medical situations. In addition to that, I would encourage them to seek out as many opportunities as possible to use Spanish outside of the classroom. That factor is very important. If they limit their exposure to Spanish simply to the classroom, it's not going to be enough to really develop a high level of fluency in the language. You know, I strongly encourage them to plan at least a semester abroad, preferably with a homestay. That's an important part of developing understanding of the culture and the context that they're studying.